Hello everyone and welcome to my look at the PC release of Dragon's Dogma. So Dragon's Dogma is a game that released on consoles a few years ago to kind of interesting reviews. A lot of people liked it and found it a little bit quirky, but it never got like a huge kind of following, if you will. It didn't necessarily sell fantastically well, but overall had pretty positive reviews. And well, I'm here to kind of report on how the PC version of this game plays. So what is this game? Well, it's kind of a Japanese take on a Western RPG. So you've got classic kind of, real-time action RPG content. You got dudes you're leveling up, fantasy people you're fighting. But you also have some interesting choices, interesting character classes, interesting abilities, and some things that are pretty unique to this game, including the combat. So here I am fighting a pretty giant guy, and this guy is not as big as they get. And these battles can last a pretty long time. Now, there are kind of more generic mobs that you run into. Not every creature is this big giant creature. You saw right at the beginning of the video there were some goblins that I took out. But it is not uncommon to have rather large creatures that you are going to have long fights with, and you might want to use certain tactics of, like maybe focusing on the hand that is holding the club so that I can get him to eventually drop the club. And that is one of the really neat things about the combat in this game, and different characters can use different abilities. You can even climb on the characters and try to hit different specific spots on the character, because doing certain things may be more useful. And yeah, we did actually get him to drop the club there, which is great. It isn't necessarily the greatest looking game ever, but it is a few years old, and overall still looks pretty good. And just to report on the PC port, the PC port of this game is pretty fantastic. Everything functions pretty well. There's even a field of view slider, which is something you don't tend to see in third-person games, let alone some first-person games. But something I appreciate nonetheless. And let's go ahead and climb on this creature while we're talking about it. So now the creature may try to throw us off, but we can try to climb up maybe to the creature's head. Oh, okay, we fell off. But and there are some classes that might be better at that or whatever. So we are basically, we can't get through the creature's armor at certain points as well. And you see this character has several different health bars and whatever. So what do I think about the game itself? Well, this game is strange. I say that in the same way I would refer to, let's say, Regina Spektor's first album as strange. I mostly mean that as a good thing, although if somebody wants to explain to me the song Back of a Truck, I would really appreciate that. But anyways, there are certainly some strange choices. For example, if I hit the kind of start menu here, I can go into my quests and map and equipment and stuff like that, but only my equipable equipment. If I want to go into like my restoratives and my lantern, that I'm going to have to use at night because it gets dark and scary. Not only is it hard to see, but there are more and tougher and more aggressive monsters out at night during the day-night cycle. So it is weird that like everything I need is in here except for the other things I need that also have my equipable equipment and stuff in a different button. But anyways, also, the UI just is a little bit odd. Like with the quests, there's no delineation between side quests and the main quest, and there are a bunch of side quests. It's a little bit hard to track. Another kind of odd thing is the travel. There's a massive map, and you may have trouble actually getting to where you're going initially. You might have like a red dot somewhere up here, and it might take you a while, and you might even get lost getting to where you're going. There is kind of fast travel in this game, and if you go to not this equipment, but this equipment, you can go to your fairy stones. So in the original game, you got these fairy stones and they were consumables. Whenever you use them up. And you could travel to places that basically have a portal you can go to. And then I did drop basically a portal over here as well. But that is my very limited choices as far as places that I can travel to with it. And then if I want to get back to where I'm at, I'm going to have to hoof it. So there's a lot of traveling back and forth over the same areas in this game. Now, this version of the game on PC does give you saw in my inventory, an eternal fairy stone. So you can at least travel back to the main hubs as often as you want without using that up, which is something that I do appreciate. So there's some quirkiness. Another kind of interesting thing, shall I say, is pawns. So I have my main character that I made. Yeah, let's go ahead and see if... Come on. There. Nope. Oh, I am failing at jumping up on this guy. There we go. Let's see if we can climb up to his head and try to take out his helmet. So I have my main... He's really trying to throw me off here. And if I run out of stamina, which I'm almost out of on the bottom, yeah, I end up getting thrown off anyways. So I have my main character that I built, and then I also have my pawn, aka my companion, Amelia. So basically I have what's called a magic archer. So I can use daggers and daggers ability. I have all these kind of magical arrow abilities. I could also use a staff if I wanted to, but that's not the kind of build I'm going for. There are a lot of different classes. There's just 3 to start the game with. Basically a fighter, a ranger, and a mage, and then specialized classes later on. So really quick, just to show you a couple of things back in town, there are these places that I can basically enter into this odd place. So at the beginning of the game, you do create your pawn, who's going to be your assistant, and then you can go into this weird area to get up to 2 more pawns. And they are kind of neat, and another strange thing about the game. These pawns basically represent soulless sort of living creatures that don't really have a will of their own and kind of serve you because you are the Arisen. This is right at the beginning of the game, so it's not a spoiler. Basically, this dragon kills you, but then kind of brings you back to life, and it's kind of this thing, this fated battle that happens over and over again. Think Wheel of Time, or this fated battle where one of you has to die like Harry Potter and Voldemort or something like that, but more Wheel of Time because it happens over and over again. And these pawns are all willingly going to serve you, but you can only have up to 3 with you at any time. It would be nice if you could just form an army of them. So you can have computer-generated ones, or if you go online, these are all pawns that other players have created, and basically their assistants. It's a really interesting concept, so I can pick whatever class I want, and I can do, there are some random ones that show up, I can do specific searches, so I can always get a pawn basically that is equal to my level at no cost, and then there's a currency you can earn throughout the game to get higher level ones, and you can come back and get new pawns at any time. You can do all different kinds of things and searches for specific classes or whatever, or just talk to the random ones here and see their stats. At any point I can dismiss pawns that I have and get new ones. So it is kind of an interesting thing. And if I have a pawn that maybe someone else has done a quest with their pawn that I haven't done yet, they might give me useful information, or they might do a quest with me that they haven't done with their character and have useful information for them when they go back to that world. So that's pretty neat. However, for the most part, they just tell you things. They tell you random things that you don't need to know. They might tell you that wolves don't like fire over and over and over again. And yeah, so yeah, there's Amelia just asking where to head, but there are just all kinds of things popping up, and I don't even really hear them anymore. So here's town. It's kind of drab. The indoor environments are a lot more drab than the outdoor environments, and like, you know, this building is the only difference between that building and this building is this sign here, and sometimes I think I can go in here, but like, no. Yeah, that's closed. So this is like the main hub of where we're at. And then if I come here, I can actually change my vocation, basically, or yeah, it is called a vocation. So these are the 3 you start with. I was talking about like more two-handed warrior, you know, a strider is like a different version of a ranger, but they have differences. More damage focused than healing and buff focused with the sorcerer compared to the mage and mystic knight, new shield and stuff, the assassin, specialist, and everything, kind of, and the magic archer. And they all have different skills and things you can buy. So you get basically 2 types of experience in the game. Regular experience, where you level up, and then discipline points. And with your discipline points, you can buy different specialties. So I haven't bought any staff specialties. I bought them for the dagger and bow because that's how I choose to play. There are core skills, and I believe you keep, I can't remember if it's either the core skills or the augments, you keep even if you change classes. So at any point you can change classes if you want. You can see my rank over kind of the middle left of the screen, and Magic Archer is all the way filled. If I go to a different rank, then if I haven't used that rank at all, you know, I'll be at level 0, and I won't have as many options to buy skills with, but I will level up in that. I will keep my main level and some of the other kind of core things, but at any point I can change basically my character class, which is a cool thing about the game. So these pawns, they're kind of odd but interesting. The way the class system works is kind of odd but interesting, and that's pretty much a theme of the game. There are going to be some things about this game that are probably going to annoy you. Even just figuring out where you're going in the world. If you're somebody who doesn't like having fast travel in a game, well, there you go. You don't have to worry about it in this game, although I do get turned around as to even how to get out of this place because everything looks the same. Alright, there we go. We found the way out of here. So, Dragon's Dogma is an interesting game. It's a game that I actually played on console a long time ago. I got to the final boss, and one thing to bear in mind, there is one save game in this game. And I had been with my companions for quite a long time. They were a good way below my level going into the final battle. Don't do that, friends. That is a mistake. I suggest going in with people at least your level, if not using those points to get even a higher level pawns than you going into the final battle. And you know when you're going into the final battle. And after getting past part of what I'm pretty sure was the final battle, there was another part that I eventually just became frustrated with and never beat. My understanding is there is a reason that might be explained why the world is so barren after you beat the game. At least I've heard that. I don't know. I'm hoping to beat the game this time around and actually find that out. But overall, this is a game with quirks, but one that I definitely enjoy. The combat is different. There are monsters that you legitimately have to focus on certain points and use certain tactics with. The pawns are kind of annoying, but also neat. And you get to make different combinations. Being able to change classes and level different classes up throughout the game, which is something you can definitely do and try a bunch of different skills, is something I definitely like. And, well, for $30, while this game may not look amazing, it is a good port. There are a lot of options in the options menu. It runs well, and you notice, look at this, keyboard control, and even playing the game, it'll go back and forth from keyboard mouse controls to controller just as soon as I start using one or the other, and will instantly know what I'm doing, which is something that I appreciate. So a game that runs well, has a good interface and whatever. The port itself is excellent, and it's a $30 game. So if this is a game that you enjoyed originally, you might want to check out again, I would definitely have no qualms about wanting to do that. And if you haven't had a chance to check out this game, there we go, I got that attack the trigger, then, and you enjoy, this kind of style of Western RPG with the little quirks, and you don't mind a few little annoying things, then, and you have, a PC, at least an average level PC that would be able to run this game, then I definitely suggest checking it out. Once you get past those few little quirks and be prepared for taking long walks, getting lost, you might wander into an area where, hey, there's a dragon, and if you fight it, you're going to die. However, you can run away. The game is, and that's something that you're maybe not used to in certain, Western RPGs, having to run away. This whole idea that you can just wander wherever you want and take on whatever you want in kind of the modern Elder Scrolls game, I don't like that. I like that this kind of has an open world, and, there are some areas basically gated by how difficult the monsters are. So I do, I personally prefer that in the game. So, there's some quirkiness as to what your characters can do in the different classes, but overall, some pretty neat ideas and a pretty interesting game. So, if you're looking for, a pretty neat RPG and willing to look past a few odd design choices, then I would definitely suggest being willing to, drop to $30 and try out Dragon's Dogma on PC. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we will be back with more reviews later. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like, subscribe, and make sure to catch JB's Total Gaming on Twitch and Twitter.